LifeFamily Media is excited to share with you today's bonus episode of Backstage with Wanda Phillips, where I get the privilege of going backstage with your favorite podcast host, our very own Wanda Phillips. But before we begin, I want to ask that you would go ahead and subscribe or follow this show wherever you're watching or listening to this from, and leave us one of those 5-star reviews, those ones that we like. This really helps us get the message out to more people across the world, and we just thank you in advance for your support of this show. But on today's bonus episode, you're going to hear some fascinating stories about Pastor Randy's family history that truly shaped him into who he is today, specifically noting the impact that his mom, Wanda, had on his life. You're going to love this meaningful and heartfelt conversation, so let's go ahead and jump in. Well, it is going to be a great day on Backstage with Wanda Phillips. I am excited to have a backstage conversation with you, Pastor Randy. You have been bringing in all of these guests, kind of peeling back the curtain with them. But, you know, as LifeFamily Media, I'm the project manager. If we haven't met, my name's Jill Wellborn, and I get to ask Pastor Randy some fun questions today.
Oh, boy.
Are you ready? How do you feel about the spotlight?
I don't like it. Control. I have control issues.
You've made some interesting life and career decisions if you don't like the spotlight.
True. You've done a great job with this podcast.
Hey.
So many of you are watching, and thank you for finding this interesting, inspirational, informative, and so much of it is due to you. Thank you.
There's a great team that many of you can't see or hear behind the scenes that
Yes,
make it happen.
they are great.
But it's been fun. Thanks for letting me be a part.
I'm so glad
to dive into this today. So we just want to have a backstage conversation with you, get to know you a little more, okay? So we can shake it out. It's gonna be fun.
I'm extremely I'm a super boring human being.
Do you consider yourself introverted or extroverted?
Yeah, introverted.
Okay. How do you do that with ministry, leadership?
Well, I've learned to use that muscle.
Okay.
But I was so much more comfortable being in the background, and but I love the moments on the stage and the moments. But then I like to disappear if I can.
Okay.
Don't like parties. Denise wants to throw me, parties for my birthday. The big numbers.
Okay.
The ones with the 5
we won't
and the
ask
0.
Where we are. Okay.
Oh, I'm 60.
Oh my God.
But I look outstanding.
You. Well done for 60
But no,
years.
I would rather just be low key.
Okay.
So introvert, I suppose.
Hey, well, we appreciate you letting us dive in. Introvert, extrovert. We appreciate you letting us dive in today. It's going to be fun. You do a good job hiding that, I will say. It's been good.
Thank you.
Okay, so obviously, for any people that have followed you for some time, we know that you have a musical background, musical drive. Phillips, Craig, and Dean, the original. Worship leading, passionate worship in our church, LifeFamily. We love it.
Thank you.
Where did that drive come from?
Music came from my mother and father, evangelists, which means they didn't have a home. They just traveled around church to church. So for many years of my life, we didn't have a home. Just the next church, the next revival. And my dad and mother would preach these revivals. Now, we go to church on Sunday morning now, maybe a life group during the week. That's it. And and it just wears us out.
2 nights.
But back in the day, we went Sunday morning, Sunday night. We went Monday night prayer meeting, Wednesday night Bible study, Thursday night was choir practice, Friday night was singles, adults, students, Saturday was outreach, and then Sunday you repeat it again.
Church.
Yeah, it's just what we did.
That takes some stamina.
So my mother and father, that's how I grew up. and just church. All I knew was church. There's just when you go to church a lot, it's just your whole life, and you learn how to sing a lot, or play an instrument, or whatever the Lord has for you. But you're around church people all the time. I like church people.
Okay, good.
I
You
do.
got
I
to
love
when
the
you're
church.
there every night of the week.
A lot of pastors' kids that I grew up with, a lot of pastors' kids that I know now, they have all these horror stories of this, that, and other. I don't have any of those. My upbringing was so joyful. The church was so wonderful. It was hard, but my parents they lived at home what they lived on stage. Never duplicity, no duplicity. It was the same, and I just couldn't wait to get to church. Still can't.
Oh,
after all these years.
Wow. Wow.
But musically, my dad was the preacher, great preacher. Oh my Lord, he's a preacher.
Yes.
An orator. So I think I got some of his words, the natural ability for his word, the wording, the cadence of words, the economy of words, the descriptive words from him. But my mother is the one that gave me the music. She was a child prodigy. Her parents put her with a notable teacher, piano teacher. And the piano teacher one day told my mother's parents, I have nothing more to teach your daughter.
Wow.
And my mother was 10.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that is
The
special.
Southern Baptist, or not Southern Baptist, Southern Quartet Convention, huge thing. Probably not something you follow, but...
I haven't. No,
How many
I haven't. I'm gonna
Southern
be honest.
Quartet conventions have you been to, Jill?
I can't lie to my pastor.
Yeah, none.
Okay.
But it's a big deal if you're Southern gospel music. She was selected to play for this real popular quartet. Their entire set, like 6, 8, 10 songs. Southern gospel songs they're aggressive.
Okay.
And fun. And she was the only musician. She was the band. She was 14.
Oh my gosh.
So she's a child prodigy, writer, singer, songwriter. She has a big old voice, Ella Fitzgerald kind of voice. You ever heard of Ella Fitzgerald?
I have. Yes,
Okay,
I have.
very good.
I'm not too far past that, Pastor
Ella.
Randy. Give me a little credit.
But she had a big baritone, alto voice, and she's just such a great singer. So I got my passion for music from my mother, but my dad, I got the words and the rhyme and the alliteration. So it led well to being maybe a decent songwriter. I don't know.
I would say so. I would say so. How many songs have you written? Do you even know?
A couple of hundred.
A couple of hundred.
But
That's
there's
incredible.
about 100 you would never, ever want to hear.
Okay.
They're horrible.
Okay.
One was, Lord, you hung the moon. Lord, you hung the moon. And you hung the stars in heaven too. So let me say how great you are with this simple tune. Oh, Lord, you hung the moon. That was back in my country days.
Yes.
I was going to do a little country.
Okay.
So there's one of those songs you don't just never should hear.
Why?
No one should ever hear it.
Well, we just
Awful.
blew that up.
It's awful.
I had my foot going. I could see that Southern gospel.
I saw your foot going.
That's right. Oh, well, hey, perspective. It's all about perspective. I'm sure. I can't imagine about like writing something, showing it to the world. That's such a vulnerable
It is so
process.
vulnerable. Phillips, Craig, and Dean guys, we write a lot of the songs, and we'll start with about 100 songs we love that we might like to cover, and original songs. So when it gets to, so we all vote, we all have a vote, and we just start, we vote for the songs we write. I'll vote for every song I've written.
Okay.
And I can't believe that they don't vote
They don't
for
vote.
those songs. But
That
so I have
vote room.
to twist their arm a little bit.
Okay.
You know, I'm from Louisiana, so we know how to work the voting thing. We vote. Everyone should vote and vote often is our motto. So I try to like get as many votes as I can
So
for my song.
You're campaigning.
Campaigning.
Okay.
And so that's how a lot of my songs have ended up on these albums. Is I was working it in the back rooms, working it.
You work it. You raptor that system.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
Come on.
But literally, my musical genre is diverse because my dad loved music. Now, my mother was the one gifted at music. Mm-hmm. My dad can't sing. Mm-hmm. He tries. Does
he play anything?
No, he shouldn't. And doesn't play. But he has a passion for music.
Okay.
So we had this thing called a hi-fi. You ever heard of a hi-fi? Nope.
No, I am.
It's an enormous piece of furniture that you used to have in your living room. And it had a turntable on it. You know what a turntable is, a record player?
Yeah.
And then you had a section of it that was for all the albums, big albums back in the day. And then speakers.
Those
big
are coming
piece of
back.
furniture. Yeah, they are. So my dad would buy an album and come in and he would say, sit down. And I would sit down with him and he would play the album from the first song, flip the album over, and play the second side. And it would be Motown stuff. It would be Aretha Franklin. It would be the Temptations. It would be, and then it would be Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin Brothers. It would be Southern Gospel. It would be Edwin Hawkins and the Hawkins singers. Andre Crouch, Dottie Rambo and the Rambo. Very diverse.
I love it.
And so one day, I got a very diverse background of music and a passion for it. One day, my dad had an evangelist come to the church, and that evangelist preached on worldly music, the dangers of worldly music, how those words get in your ears, get in your heart, and it just ruin you. So I got under conviction. I said, I've got to go home and get rid of all that worldly music. So I went home. Thank you, Jesus, for helping me get rid of this thing. And I went in there to that hi-fi, and I got all those albums, hundreds of them. And I went out to the backyard. There was a little metal trash can, and I put all those albums in that trash can. I put the lid on, and I said, there we go. Through with that. No more, Satan. You're not going to be getting in my ears. Oh. Went to my little room. And I heard a noise in the backyard, and I went, and I looked, and my dad.
I knew it.
He was getting all those albums out of that trash can.
Brush them off.
He said, don't you ever throw my albums away. These are mine.
That's amazing. Good quality. Just slide it in the back door.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, that's so fun. Well, that's so funny. Your family sounds amazing.
They're fun.
Just the testimony. I've been in ministry for a few years now, and you hear the horror stories of pastors' kids like you started to share, and just the family dynamics can be really tight, but the fact that, tough, not tight, but the fact that you love God, love music, love your family after 50 plus years of ministry. Yeah. That's a testament to what a beautiful family you've had.
I have a great legacy. My dad, of just impeccable character, brilliant, loved God. My dad taught me how to love God and love His Word. My mother taught me how to love God's people. She was the people person. She was caring for people. She wanted to know all about you. Every little old restaurant here in Austin, Texas, she would hit them all.
Oh, come on.
My mother was a light eater.
My own heart.
She was a light eater. As soon as it got daylight, she started eating.
That is a girl after my own heart.
And she knew every person's name, their kids, where they're from. She was so curious and interested in people. So I am to this day. I want to know, tell me about yourself. And she taught me the pivot, the art of the pivot. Don't let people talk about you. Pivot and talk about them. They may ask you a question or two, but pivot the conversation and go after them. So,
That's special.
so tell me about your kids, Jill.
Oh, Lord, they a mess. You don't want to know.
My mother, I said, Mother, my mom passed away just this past year. I miss her so much. And I said, Mother, how did you're 80 years old, not a wrinkle, not a wrinkle.
Wow.
I said, what is the secret of your skincare? I mean, you're 80, you look gorgeous. She said, baby, eat lots of fat.
But just fill it out.
Fat, she said, fat will even all that out. She said, these skinny girls, look how wrinkled up they are.
Wrinkle. Okay.
So there you
Note.
go, ladies. Fat.
Let's go
Eat
get
fat.
some.
Let's go.
Let's go get some McDonald's. I'm ready. I'm hungry. Talk about all this food. I'm a light eater as well. I feel that.
As soon as it gets daylight.
Okay. Well, that's beautiful. Is there something that you could identify, man, as your mom, you think this is her best attribute? Is it the people?
Oh, people, caring for people.
Okay.
Loving God, loving music. She didn't love music like my dad did, but she could play music.
Yeah.
But I think just her passion for Jesus, her passion for the people of God, the church. Mm-hmm. She would take the church roster, and after a while it got pretty big, couple of thousand people, and she would have the administrative offices print out the church roster, A to Z. And she would go down the list and call every name.
Oh, my goodness.
I know it. And she had a little ruler, marker. She would, mark it. I'd see it by her bedside table. She'd mark through the name. It'd take months.
Oh.
Months to get all the way through the Z's.
Wow.
But she wanted to know about them. Where are you? How are you doing? How can I help you? My mother taught me so many great things.
Wow.
She taught me about people. This has helped me, and it may help you. People don't have to love me for me to love them. People don't have to like me for me to like them. I just like you, and I like people, and I love you. Whether you love me or like me, doesn't matter. So that's helped me when I've been in church situations and people got crossed up with me or with something. You don't have to love me for me to love you. I just love.
That's good.
So
that is good.
that's something my mom, Wanda, taught me.
Wanda. Oh,
Wanda.
look at that picture. I don't see
beautiful.
a wrinkle. She's beautiful.
No, she's beautiful.
I love it.
She loved a good photograph too.
Oh.
If she felt like anybody had a camera, she would just start posing. She actually bought a man in the church a camera because she didn't feel like anybody was taking good pictures of her. So she bought a man a camera, an expensive camera.
Upgrade.
And she said, baby, just follow me around.
Oh, my gosh.
Just follow me around and take some good pictures. Now, don't get up under my chin now. Stay up high.
She knows that good side.
She knows that.
Listen,
Look at
we
her.
all know a good side.
Look, she look good.
I love it. I love it. Hey, if you're listening today, you need to go watch the YouTube video and see this picture because she's a beautiful woman. Okay, I know you've shared with me a couple funny stories about her. Do you have one you could pull out and share?
Oh, Lord, so many, so many.
Look.
She's just so funny without knowing she was funny.
Okay.
She never got a joke. If anybody told a joke, she would laugh, and then she would say, now what did that mean? So we'd have to tell it to her.
Okay.
But she's just funny. She's just funny, just who she was. So comfortable in her own skin, and always in a hurry. She had big hair, so you can see the hair. Big hair, big purse, dress. She was in a hurry.
Okay.
We went to a Japanese place. She loved that. And we were all sitting there, my family, sitting, in the horseshoe kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And my mom was late. My mom being late for food, like something's not right. So here she comes, about 10 minutes. We've been there about 10 minutes. Here she comes, big hair, dark sunglasses, big purse, hitting up against her side, walking fast. Oh, she sits down. Oh, baby, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I'm late. I said, it's okay, Mom. And she said, well, how's my babies doing? So she went around, how's Lily Pearl? Lily Pearl, tell me about how you doing. Garland, how are you doing? Went around to all of us. Then the guy, like, can I get you your, oh, yes, I'll have the shrimp and chicken and a Diet Coke. And we just chatted a little bit. And then she said to me, baby, I've got to go back outside. I hit a woman.
No.
I said, you hit a woman, like with your car? She said, yeah, I ran into her. I said, Mom, you sat here and ordered
Your food. Hey, run. That's a new kind of drive-through right there.
That woman, she had hit her like 5 or 6 miles away and said, just follow me.
And the woman did?
Yeah, the woman followed. So
Wow.
I went outside, and there that poor lady was. She was in a little white minivan, bumper just hanging off.
Oh, that's impressive.
I'll tell you another one.
Okay.
Do we have time?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Another restaurant, always in a restaurant. Papa Do's, which is, a favorite of mine and should be a favorite of everyone's. Papa Do's.
That's good.
It was packed, and we were sitting in a round table. A lot of the staff was sitting in a round table. People everywhere. And I was sitting there by my mother, and I told my mother, I said, see that guy over there, Mom? She was looking. I said, he goes to our church, and I haven't seen him in a while. And do you know his name? And she said, yeah, I think she told me his name. She said, I want you to get up right now and go check on him and tell him we miss him. I said, right now? She said, yes, right now. So I got up, and I weaved my way through the tables, bunch of tables, packed, went over there to him, and I said, hey, Brad, man, we've been missing you at church. How you been doing? He said, I've been having to work a different shift, so I hadn't been there, but I'm coming back. I said, okay. Well, we love you. Thank you. Weaved my way all the way back, sat down. My mother said, what'd he say? I said, well, Mom, he said he had a work schedule thing and hadn't been able to. She said, that's not good enough. She got up, and she started weaving her way through, but she didn't know who he was.
Oh, no.
She didn't know what he looked like.
Oh, no.
She just knew the vicinity I went to. So she walked all the way through there. She goes to the table where there's these two, the consummate cowboys of Texas. Big mustache, had, hats laying on the table, big belt buckles,
okay.
pearl
Snaps.
buttons,
Yeah.
and cowboy boots, and
Classic.
they're sitting there. And my mother walks up to them and says, she leans down, big hair, big voice, Brad, honey, we love you.
Oh, no.
We miss you. And we want you to come back to church.
Oh.
And then she just walks off and goes to the restroom. And I saw one cowboy say to the other one, what the hell was that?
Spoken like a true cowboy right there.
Sorry for the language.
Well done. Oh, my.
So many funny stories.
So bold.
Oh, she's funny.
Oh.
One of my favorite things is when she would get to preach in church.
Oh?
But, my dad, his background, they didn't call it preaching. The women they spoke.
Okay.
She would speak. Not preach. You could speak. Same thing, same microphone, same content, but
Right.
It's speaking. So what I loved about her, she would prep so hard. She took it so seriously. I mean, it'd be months out, and she would be gathering material and working it. She was good. We loved to hear her preach. The content was good. She was funny. Her delivery was good. But it was when she went off script that we all loved. Because if she went off script, it could go anywhere.
Oh.
And so my dad would tell her the night before the Sunday service, sweetheart, stick to your notes. Read the script. Don't look around. Just stick to your notes. Oh, Kenneth, I've got it. She would get up there right off the bat.
Oh.
She would look up from her notes, begin calling people's name out in the audience. We loved it.
Yes.
But when she got off her notes, it could go anywhere. So she tried to tell a little joke one time. She said, now my dad, he would sit right on the front row with me. I would sit right beside him. And he would just narrate the whole service and growl and carry on, big voice, just talk out loud. And my mother said, my husband says that I drive like a you-know-what out of hell.
You know what?
And my dad goes, dear Lord.
Just in the audience.
She got the blank in the wrong place.
Oh, that's classic.
Sorry about the language, everybody.
Man, we're just...
We need to put a rating on this show?
We might need to. We could censor, I think.
Can we censor it?
Oh, that is too funny. Wow. What a classic. Off script. I would enjoy the off script as well, I think.
So many things.
Oh, man. Well, she sounds just amazing. Your family sounds amazing. I know you've shared, and I'm sure your family's been walking through a time of grief, a time of loss, a time of memory. Yeah. But she's so amazing. I see some of these attributes. We'll leave the language aside, but just how you are caring so deeply for people. I see her legacy living on.
That's my mom.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. Is there something you've taken in this time of processing since the passing of your mom that says, this is going to be her legacy and I'm going to help carry it forward?
Yeah. I want for the remainder of my life and to try to put this in my children as much as I can. Love God's people. Love God's people. Care about God's people. And be curious about God's people. Are you curious? Why not? Most of us are just so concerned about ourselves, so concerned about how we feel about it, how we look at it. There's nothing wrong with that, but just to have to turn that and say, who are you? How are you doing? Are you okay? Are you okay? How can I pray for you? And just to put this holy curiosity, if I can, into my kids. And if I can do that, Wanda lives.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I just say personally, I've seen you do that in my life. The question you leave in almost any staff meeting we've had or any interactions, how can I help you? As a senior pastor, as a leader, you don't have to ask that question, but it comes so naturally.
Thank you.
I could see her legacy of caring truly for people just comes in it's how you are. It's how you live. It's how you lead. And it's so, so special. It's why we stay. It's why we love serving LifeFamily Media, and all the things that we're doing. You are a true blessing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for allowing us to go backstage in your life, Pastor Randy. I hope this isn't the last time. Maybe next time we'll have a little less language. Maybe not.
Pray for me,
not.
people.
Yeah.
Pray for me.
Stretch
My language
your
has got to improve.
Stretch your hand. That's that legacy living on. Oh my gosh. Well, it's such a good time. Thank you, Pastor Randy. We hope you join us again next time. We'll have some incredible episodes, some incredible guests on Backstage with Randy Phillips. We hope you enjoyed today's bonus episode, and we look forward to bringing you more exciting content each month. But remember, we need you to rate, review, and subscribe to this show. Help us get the message out to even more people. And we want to invite you, if you have a question that you want to hear answered on this podcast, please email us, podcast@life.family. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, we'll see you then.